Independent School District. This comes after a state law passed earlier this year, which now requires public schools to review their books for age-appropriate content. The night team's Zariotes caught up with two.
From KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
We're just hours away from learning the fate of one of the biggest talkers of the year, the new Spurs Arena. Will voters approve Prop B? We're going to be talking about the results and when and what else you need to know about the outcome coming up.
Bexar County Sheriff deputies went into a house looking for drugs. They didn't find any, but this is what they found: over $200,000 in cash. We'll tell you what side of the county that happened in.
And the man convicted of ambushing and killing San Antonio Police Detective Benjamin Marconi will remain on death row this morning while the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals upheld his conviction.
All right, good morning to everyone out there, and happy Tuesday. It is Election Day. We have finally made it, and we know a lot of folks are going to be heading out to the polls later on this morning.
Oh, yes. I'm Daphne Gray, and this is RJ Marquez, and we got to pass things over to meteorologist Justin Horn because obviously people are going to be outside, standing in line sometimes. Yep. How are we looking?
It's great today. Great weather for Election Day, so no reason not to get out and vote if that's what you choose to do. And I know you guys got a lot of news headlines. We've got some pretty significant weather headlines coming up, too. Let's take a look at those. Gradually warming each day, so know that temperatures are going to go well above average by the time we get to the end of the work week. It's going to be pretty warm during the afternoons. Fog is going to be a main issue, one of our main issues as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So do know that we're talking mainly, I'd say, between the hours of 6 and 8 a.m. But this could affect the morning commutes. That's why we're going to keep you posted there. Not so much today, but again, next few days. And then our next front arrives Sunday morning. And this is going to be a pretty good front. It's going to knock down temperatures significantly, but it's also going to give us some very gusty winds, which will pose a fire threat as we get into the second half of the weekend. Let's look at today's forecast as you get out the door this morning. 52 to start, so cool but not cold. 60 at 9 a.m., 70 11 a.m., 80 will be our high today. And again, that's just sort of the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, because temperatures only go up from there, not only this week, but we're looking down the line, and it looks like after our cold front passes by, we'll get some more warm weather as well. So we'll talk more about the forecast and the timing of all this for you coming up in just a couple minutes.
All right, while you were sleeping, a big search for drug leads to a major bust. Bexar County SWAT didn't find any drugs, but they did find over $200,000 in cash. All of this taken off the streets, 33 firearms, all believed to be tied to drug trafficking. It happened during a raid at a home on Cantrell Drive in the south side that's near Southwest Military and Commercial Avenue. Investigators say the K-9 unit also led them to where they were being kept, even a detached building known as a clubhouse that was full of Bandito biker gang insignia, body armor, and a stolen motorcycle. There was an arrest made. 60-year-old Anselmo Barrera is now in the Bexar County Jail. He is charged with possession of body armor by a convicted felon. But this morning, investigators say that's just the beginning of what they found. Coming up on GMSA, the surprising high-level role deputies say Barrera held inside the Bandito's outlaw motorcycle gang and why they say that could mean even more charges are on the way.
Today is the day we're finally going to learn the fate of that new Spurs Arena. So when will we know exactly? I think it's the big question.
Yeah, so we have the countdown clock right there that you see just under 14 hours now, and we should know some early results at 7 p.m. That's when we're going to get the first round of voting results, and then later on we should hopefully know the full results before we get to the KSAT 12 night beat. So more than 143,000 people have already voted, and if that sounds like that's a pretty good amount, so far it is for an off-election year nonetheless. Off-year elections happen when there's no presidential or midterms, and so far turnout is sitting at just over 11%.
Yeah, that's already higher than the total vote turnout for 8 out of 10 November off elections. Now, that'll happen over the past 20 years. Political science chair at UT San Antonio, John Taylor, says that the turnout for these is usually low, and while it may not climb that high, more than likely props A and B are causing energy among voters.
Presidential election years, usually in Bexar County we get about roughly 55 to 58% turnout, somewhere in there. In 2024, I think we end up with 54% turnout. I mean, in midterm election years, we're lucky to get 42% turnout. The mayor's race, we ended up with 17% turnout for the runoff between Ortiz Jones and Pablos.
All right, well, we'll be following the polls all day long over the air and, of course, on our streams, digital streams, and KSAT.com as well. Again, polls open at 7 o'clock this morning. We should be getting an update from the Bexar County Election Administrator around 11 o'clock this morning, so you could scan that QR code on your screen. It'll take you straight to a full list of places where you can cast your vote today. You can also head over to KSAT.com, look for this article on the homepage, and don't forget to join us on air and online all day for complete election coverage.
This morning, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals has denied Otis McCain's direct appeal of his death sentence. McCain, convicted of killing San Antonio police detective Benjamin Marconi back in 2016, ambushing him as he sat in his patrol car outside police headquarters. And prosecutors called it a calculated attack, and jurors took just 25 minutes to find McCain guilty in 2021. His attorneys claimed that he was denied a fair trial, but the state's highest criminal court disagreed, ruling that his statements to police were voluntary and that there was no racial bias in jury selection. For now, McCain's conviction and death sentence stand, though no execution date has been set.
Well, today will be day 17 of testimony in the trial of 3 former officers accused in the killing of Melissa Perez. During yesterday's proceedings, the defense called retired SAPD detective and Sergeant Lisa Miller to the stand. Miller testified that she spoke with 3 other officers not charged in this case who were at the scene and had their weapons drawn. Now, one of those officers told Miller that they would have shot at Perez, but it was not safe for them to do so. If found guilty, Eleazar Alejandro, Alfred Lopez, and Nathaniel Villalobos all face up to life in prison. And of course, we are live streaming this trial, gavel to gavel. Testimony expected to continue around 1:30 this afternoon. You can watch it on all of our streaming platforms.
This morning, we got some relief in sight for Americans waiting to receive their SNAP benefits. The Trump administration tapping into emergency funds to provide benefits to some 40 million Americans following a federal judge's ruling yesterday. An exact date on when the benefits will be dispersed is unclear, but today marks 35 days of the government shutdown. It is now time for the longest in American history. It's unclear how that reduced amount will affect the close to 300,000 people in Bexar County who rely on those benefits, but we do know that a portion of those people are children. Food insecurity is one of the things that leaders discussed during the latest Bexar County Area School Safety and Mental Health Summit. Bexar County Judge Peter Sakai says especially now, all leaders need to work together to help kids succeed.
I think everybody in this room needs to understand that we have to provide wraparound services. So we have to deal with food insecurity. We have to deal with housing insecurity. We got to deal with access to health care. More importantly, we need to make sure that our students have access to mental health services and support.
Definitely creating a conversation among adults and kids, because get this, SAISD students also at the event speaking with leaders.
5:08, time to look at some of your morning headlines, and we start on Capitol Hill, where there is new talk of a bipartisan compromise to end the government stalemate. Lawmakers are debating whether to extend Obamacare subsidies to keep health premiums from rising, possibly with new income limits. Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune says that he's optimistic the Senate could vote to reopen the government by the end of the week if lawmakers make progress over the next couple of days. But the gridlock is already hitting home, especially at the nation's airports. Unpaid TSA agents and air traffic controllers are calling out sick, leading to longer lines and more canceled flights. Now, according to the San Antonio International Airport's website, arrivals and departures mostly seem unaffected as of this morning. Okay, check this out. We have a scary situation in Florida. Look at that video behind me when 2 people had to be rescued from a fire on a boat. So this all happened near Hollywood Beach on Monday afternoon. And according to authorities, one person was rescued by a Good Samaritan while the other was pulled to safety from the water by the U.S. Coast Guard. Now, both men, fortunately, were not injured. Investigators are still working to determine what caused that massive fire on the boat. And this morning, a fast-moving typhoon is barreling across the central Philippines after slamming the shore overnight, leaving at least 2 people dead. Flash floods trap people on roofs and engulf cars in 2 villages and displace tens of thousands of people. The typhoon had sustained winds of up to 87 miles per hour and gusts of 195 miles per hour after making landfall around midnight local time. All right, we're going to bring things back here and take a look at your traffic authority. Our first check of our weather, and still dealing with a lot of construction taking place here. 35 at Eisenhower Road, but it looks like traffic for the most part is starting to move along in this one part of the near northeast side of town. Had also reports of construction over by O'Connor Road as well. And a quick check at the far northeast side where, hey, this is good news. Earlier when I looked at this map, Evans Road had been closed because of some ongoing construction overnight, but everything now is looking pretty good across the northeast side of town. We'll keep you updated if there are any other accidents or delays out there. Justin?
Thanks, sir. We'll go outside with live cam. It is 5:10, 51 degrees. Cool this morning. Again, not cold, but we do have some colder air on the way. Cold front this weekend. We'll time it out for you, let you know how cold it's going to get coming up.
OpenAI just inked a massive deal with Amazon worth $38 billion with a B. What it means for the future of tech and shopping coming your way.
Plus, definitely not the ending that Cowboys fans were hoping for. Our Larry Ramirez has some brand new reaction this morning to the boys' loss to the Cardinals on Monday Night Football.
It is time. Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th, and in Bexar County, there are 2 big items on the ballot, Propositions A and B, and both have to do with a potential new Spurs arena downtown. Prop B would allow Bexar County to pay up to $311 million for that new arena using venue taxes. Prop A takes a look at the Frost Bank Center and the Coliseum should the Spurs make the move. It would allow the county to use roughly $200 million in those same venue taxes to shore up the Frost Bank Center, Coliseum grounds, make upgrades to allow the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo to become a year-round tenant there. It's up to voters to decide on what happens with both Prop A and Prop B. The last day to vote is now Election Day, Tuesday, November 4th. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. To take a look at a list of polling locations, go to ksat.com/vote. That's also where you can find a sample ballot so you can read those propositions before you head to the polls.
All right, we'll be all over that. 5:15 right now. Well, a rough morning for our Dallas Cowboys and the fans after last night's bad loss to the Arizona Cardinals. Larry Ramirez joins us from Arlington with what the team is looking forward to ahead in the week.
Yeah, good morning, San Antonio. So the Arizona Cardinals beat the Dallas Cowboys 27-17 on Monday Night Football last night, as seen on KSAT 12. Now, one thing the Cowboys wanted to do, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb said they really wanted to get off to a fast start. That did not happen as the Cowboys trailed the Cardinals 10-0, and they just could not come back. Defensive tackle Kenny Clark said for him, the bye week comes at a great time. It's time for him to reflect as they get ready for the second half of the season, that everybody needs to look at themselves in the mirror. So it's not over yet, according to him. All right, let's send it back to you guys in San Antonio.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Larry. So again, the Cowboys getting a bye. They're 3-5-1 and kind of fading playoff hopes. But all right, we'll keep our fingers crossed for our Dallas Cowboys. Okay, keeping our fingers crossed of good traffic out here, and really the northeast side of town is going to be our biggest problem. Northwest side traffic is looking good after some early morning closures over by 1604 and Northwest Military. So want to show you again real quick what we're looking at here, especially around Eisenhower Road, and it's going to be kind of where we're seeing our little bit of backup at this point. Our northbound lanes at 35 right there past the 410-35 interchange over by Austin Highway, but traffic right there looking pretty good around Eisenhower Road and Rittiman, Walsham. So keep that in mind if you're about to step outside, that they are in the process of clearing some things out. Okay, Justin, disappointing loss, man, for the Cowboys. You know what? Maybe they'll bounce back. Maybe the weather will help cheer them up.
Maybe. Yet another season, man. It's rough. Okay, outside right now, we're sitting in the low 50s. It's a cool morning. Maybe a light jacket necessary for a few hours, but you will be able to lose that pretty quickly. 51 degrees at the airport, 48 New Braunfels, 50 right now in Converse, 48 Bernie. Not a lot of wind out there either, so we're not talking about wind chills. Bus stop forecast, if you're heading to the bus stop early this morning, temperatures will start off in the low 50s. But by the time school is over with, I mean, we're near 80. So it is going to be a warm afternoon for after school practices or whatever events you have going on. Sunny skies, too, by the way. So turning into a pretty good day. I'm going to show you forecast visibility here. So we're going to fast forward to 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. And notice we're starting to see fog develop. So these numbers here represent visibility. They start to come down here around San Antonio. And these numbers aren't going to be exact, but I think this gets the general idea across that we could see some dense fog by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. That could affect your Wednesday morning commute. Not just Wednesday, though. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, fog is a possibility. And it could be, again, thick at times, but we think by 9, 10 o'clock the fog is going away, sun pops back out, and then we get into some warm temperatures. So that's going to be the trend midweek towards the end of the work week. Now let's look down the line. Here's our jet stream, and it's been pretty far to the north this week. That's keeping all the cold air bottled up there. We get the warm stuff down here. But notice the jet stream starts to buckle a little bit by the time we get into the weekend, and that's going to send a cold front down. Pretty nice looking cold front on Sunday. Unfortunately, it does not bring us rain, but it is going to bring us some gusty winds. That front will slide through. We'll get a taste of that cooler air. It won't stick around for a long time, but I think Sunday and Monday we will get some cooler, more fall-like temperatures. The biggest story, though, with this front is going to be the gusty winds. We'll have some breezy winds, sure, this week, but it is Sunday where the winds really crank up. These are the sustained winds here, 25, but gusts to 35, maybe even 40 miles per hour. And I've put on there fire danger because not only will we get gusty winds, but as I mentioned, there's a lack of rainfall with this front, and it drives in some much drier air. So the fire threat is there. And we should point out that there are burn bans for the majority of our counties in our viewing area, which stands to reason, right? The drought has been pretty brutal this year. And with the situation that we have headed our way this weekend, let's be so very careful. We have a few days before we get there, but just a quick reminder that outdoor burning, not a good idea. And by the way, we're not expecting a lot of rain even beyond that. This is a precipitation outlook. And where you see that brown color, the brownish color, that represents a likelihood that we're going to see below average rainfall. And so November is starting out dry, and it looks to stay dry even into the middle part of the month. So to put it all together for you, today, 80, election day, looks good, sunny skies. We'll get some of the morning fog Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, still pretty warm. Gusty winds on Sunday, cooler. And a high Monday of only 66 with a morning low of 40s. So that is more November-like for sure. And yeah, rain-free throughout that 7-day forecast. All right, our Just Ask Justin question this morning has to do with Election Day. I want to know, what's the main reason elections are on the first Tuesday in November?
Wow.
There is a reason for this. Is it to accommodate farmers, to align with the end of daylight saving time? Is it because it's the anniversary of the Constitution, or is it Lincoln's birthday? You can go to ksat.com/Polsky and the QR code. And
we saw our faces right now.
This is, I mean, hey, our viewers, it's in your hand. Okay, it is 5:21 right now, 51 degrees outside.
Okay, let's talk TikTok, because TikTok stepping out of your feed and onto the red carpet. Details on its first ever award show, plus a $38 billion power move between OpenAI and Amazon, and what this could mean for your next tech upgrade.
Well, in today's Tech Bites, get ready for the TikTok Awards. The platform has announced its first ever award show in the U.S. Influencers are up for a variety of honors, including Creator of the Year and Video of the Year. The show will be held in Hollywood next month and live streamed on, where else? TikTok. Waymo is taking its driverless taxis to 3 more cities. Starting next year, the autonomous vehicles will be available in Detroit, San Diego, and Las Vegas. With the expansion, the company says that it's predicting it'll be providing 1 million rides per week by 2027. Finally, OpenAI has inked a $38 billion cloud computing partnership with Amazon. Now, for the past few years, the AI giant has said that it needs to drastically increase the amount of computing power it has access to. The company has also recently inked deals with NVIDIA and AMD. Those are your Tech Bites.
Okay, and we want to get you updated on this. An important programming note: the TV provider YouTube TV and our affiliate network ABC remain in a contract dispute as of this morning. That's why ABC programming is off of YouTube TV.
Now, is the local affiliate of ABC, KSAT, monitoring this closely, and going to keep you updated. If and when a deal is reached, then you can watch all of our KSAT content on KSAT Plus app along with our YouTube channel. So we got you covered in other areas. We're still just waiting in the gray area on this whole dispute that's going on. It is 5:25 right now, 51 degrees outside.
Well, this morning, police are investigating why a man shot and killed a woman. Coming up, what's next in this investigation?
And holiday shopping quickly snowballing into debt. In fact, more than 1 in 4 shoppers plan to borrow to cover gifts. Well, coming up at 6 a.m., you can join and you can do what you can do now to make sure that that debt doesn't linger long after the season ends. And coming into this half hour with breaking news, we have just learned into our newsroom the 46th Vice President, Dick Cheney, has died.
That's right. Dick Cheney, of course, one of America's most powerful modern vice presidents and the chief architect of the war on terror. This is some news that we're getting from CNN. Of course, still waiting to get this information from the Associated Press as well and some other media outlets. But as Jeff mentioned, the 46th president of the 46th vice presidents of the United States who served alongside, obviously, Republican President George W. Bush for 2 terms from 2001 to 2009.
Definitely something that we're going to be following throughout the day, as we know that more people will be speaking about this. But for right now, bringing it back home here, let's check out what our weather is looking like in San Antonio. Justin, cooler temperatures right now still.
Yeah, it still feels pretty good out there right now. Sunrise will be around 6:50 this morning. Sunset will be at 5:45. So that is early, with this with the time change. We've felt that yesterday with the evening commute. Total sunlight, 10 hours, 54 minutes. Forecast for today, 52 at 7 o'clock. 10 a.m. 65, noontime 73. We'll make our way up to around 80 this afternoon with sunny skies. So it will be a warm day for sure. And we'll see even warmer temperatures down the line as we get later into the week. I did want to pass along the pollen count. Molds are low at 490. Fall elm is also low. So this was an improvement from what was a pretty high mold count over the weekend. So this is looking better and better. We'll keep you posted on how this unfolds. We'll get a new pollen count in about 2 hours or so, and we'll pass it along to you. We're going to take a look at a strong cold front that heads our way this weekend. We'll give you that forecast here in just a couple minutes.
Thank you, Justin. One of our top stories this half hour: San Antonio police investigating why a man shot and killed a woman and then tried to turn the gun on himself. So this all happened on South Laredo Street off of I-10 near the downtown area at the Best Western Alamo Suites. Police say that they found the woman dead yesterday and a 50-year-old man who appeared to have a self-inflicted gunshot wound to his arm. Right now, we're still trying to gather more information on this and learn about the relationship of those two.
Former Uvalde CISD Police Chief Pete Arredondo is waiting for a judge to decide to grant jury or deny his request to move his trial out of Uvalde County. Arredondo is facing 10 counts of child endangerment for his response to the 2022 Robb Elementary School shooting. Our KSAT Investigates team got copies of that request. The records say the coverage of the shooting made Arredondo, quote, a scapegoat, adding his attorneys believe that they would not get a fair trial in Uvalde County. Well, this comes a month after a judge moved the trial of former Uvalde CISD officer Adrian Gonzalez to Corpus Christi. Gonzalez faces 29 counts of endangering a child.
Time right now, 5:31. Are you being impacted by the government shutdown? Well, one San Antonio nonprofit is teaming up with a downtown church to help you get a hot meal today. Whether you're a federal employee, a contractor, or a community member in need, it's no questions asked. Corazon Ministries and Travis Park United Methodist Church are serving free lunches tomorrow through Friday. Volunteers will be handing out these to-go style meals from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. every single day. And they came up with the idea to help the growing number of people in need.
It was a no-brainer. Let's just get together and make this happen.
Anytime there's a need, we step in and do whatever we can.
Okay, if you're interested, you can just walk up or drive up to the side of Travis Park Church to get one of these meals. You just need to park by the church office doors on the East Travis Street side and make sure you have your ID ready.
Okay, thank you very much, Patty. Well, today is the day that Bexar County voters will decide if the county can allocate funds for two venues, the Frostbank Center and a new proposed downtown arena for the San Antonio Spurs.
We're talking about Proposition A and Proposition B here. I know a lot of you are out there like, we've heard about this over and over and over again. Well, we're telling you about them. The opponents to Prop B held a news conference actually to urge the people to vote no on it.
We are against public funding for private development because this will not benefit our San Antonio families.
Well, advocates of Props A and B argue that it would actually give our city new opportunities.
Now is the time to stay together, get together, and shape the future of this city.
The Spurs and the Win Together campaign were not available for an interview ahead of the election, but we got a reminder that voters will have to decide how to get to their polling locations. Luckily, we got VIA making that decision a lot easier. As a part of VIA's Ride VIA to Vote program, you can catch a bus, VIA Link, or VIA Trans ride for free. Just show your Bexar County voter registration card when you board. The goal is to make sure that everyone has a way to cast their ballot, and you can plan your trip using the Transit or the VIA Go Mobile Plus app.
That is right, Jeff. Or you could also scan the QR code on your screen that we're going to be popping up. There you go. You see it right there in the lower left part of your screen, and that'll take you straight to that full list of places where you can also cast your vote. You can also head to our website. You see the page right there, KSAT.com. Look for this article on the homepage, and don't forget to join us on air and online all day today for complete election coverage.
All right, morning headlines. We got a manhunt underway in rural East Texas after an officer was shot in Jacksonville, Florida. Police say the 64-year-old Bobby Dennis shot the unnamed officer on Sunday. And this morning, the suspect still hasn't been found. He's considered armed and dangerous. As a result, area schools have announced that they won't open this morning. Governor Greg Abbott announced that a $10,000 reward for information in this case. The officer is doing a lot better after undergoing emergency surgery in Tyler. A police dog was also injured and is also recovering at an emergency vet. Right now, an Illinois man is in federal custody after being accused of threatening to kill President Donald Trump. Members of the Secret Service and law enforcement in southern Illinois arrested 57-year-old Trent Schneider at his home. Investigators say that Schneider posted a video of himself on social media 2 weeks ago that threatened the president. A federal court judge has now ordered Schneider be held up until a detention hearing on Thursday. And we got big news for travelers. If you're taking a trip anytime soon, Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport is reminding travelers to arrive early and expect longer than usual wait times. The airport posted a warning that security checkpoint lines could be up to 3 hours long. There were massive lines there over the weekend as passenger screening checkpoints tried to operate with fewer TSA agents than normal amid the federal government shutdown. At last check, flights to and from Houston via San Antonio International all show as on time this morning, and that's according to our airport's website.
All right, 5:36. Let's give you an update on your traffic authority right now. We're going to be on the far southwest side of town. This is going to be 410 at Old Pearsall Road, where we're seeing some backup here. I believe there's an incident on the frontage road right now because I was looking at some of the speeds. It's about 30 miles per hour on the southbound lanes of 410. You see a little bit of backup past the 35-410 interchange for all of our folks over here in the Somerset area. And let's take you back to the northeast side of town where we're seeing some delays, basically from Evans Road all the way up to FM 3009 Roy Richard Drive if you are headed down through the Selma area, affecting all of our traffic on southbound 35. Let's check in with Alex right now. He is stuck in some traffic out there. Alex, what can you tell us?
Good morning.
Okay, we'll check back in with Alex in just a bit. Justin?
Thanks, sir. Looking live outside, it is 5:36, 51 degrees. We're going to reflect back on the hurricane season. It ends in less than a month, but it was an interesting season nonetheless. We'll show it to you coming up.
Also, we are dealing with Butterball. You need to move over because Oreo is here to save Thanksgiving. Yeah, you heard that right. Brand new flavors, including turkey and stuffing. Yeah, I don't know about this, but coming up, there's only one way to feast one of these cookies for Turkey Day.
Plus, we're also going to give you a first look at some brand new balloons. Check this out. That will soon make their debut at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City.
And right now we have alternating lane closures on the far northeast side. Coming up after the break, I'll give you all the details.
Tuesday night is election night, and there are so many big issues on the ballot that could impact downtown San Antonio and other small communities in our area. Be sure to join us throughout the day here on KSAT, on air and online, for all the latest election day coverages, from Props A and Props B that could shape the future of the Freeman Coliseum, the Frost Bank Center, the east side of San Antonio, to what Project Marvel could potentially look like if Proposition B is ultimately passed. We're going to have it all covered for you throughout the day. You can find your sample ballot and all the list of polling locations. The polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Just go to kstat.com/vote for the very latest on all of that. Myself, Myra Arthur, and Stefania Jimenez will have you covered throughout the evening, starting at 7 p.m. with a special stream on KSAT, the KSAT Plus app, and ksat.com. So be sure to join us for that. And of course, Stephanie and I will have a complete wrap-up of the day's events on Tuesday night on the night beat at 10 o'clock. Again, ksat.com/vote for the very latest on election night 2025.
All right, and also people who rely on public transit, you got a new option to rely on because VIA just expanded its rideshare service to the southeast Bexar County. This is a big deal for people who have to walk long distances to get to where they need to be. Stefania Jimenez spoke with a woman about how VIA Link is making her commute to work so much easier.
I don't mind the heat, but the cold and when it's raining, it's kind of difficult.
But those days are over for Sandra. Now, when the bus drops her off in the morning, she could hop on a VIA Link, which takes 4 minutes to take her to her job. So that's so good. I love seeing these different things, resources that we have in our community for people who need them the most.
Yeah, and I believe this is the first VIA Link line that takes you from the Brooks area over by City Base over to anywhere you need to go. And it's like a rideshare version of VIA. Okay. So you get to get about 4 people in those little vans and stuff. So pretty cool.
Love
very
it.
Nice.
Okay, so speaking of being very nice, how are we looking with our road?
All right, yes, let's give you an update on the traffic right now because things are looking pretty good out there. And a quick reminder, so Northside ISD, Northeast ISD, no classes today. They are on a school holiday. Several of those campuses, those buildings are used as polling sites. So those kiddos are off today. It looks like SAISD, you are still going to school. So we still will see kind of a mixed bag of traffic. 410 Old Pearsall Road traffic is starting to clear out here after what was kind of reported as an incident on the frontage road. So no major issues here for our drivers on the far southwest side of town. Good morning to everyone out there over by the Somerset area. Northwest side of town traffic is good after some overnight construction on 1604 over by Tradesman and Lock Hill Selma. But the northeast side is going to be our bigger concern where we're seeing 2 different spots, one further up the road by FM 3009 and one a little bit past 1604 and 35. And this is where we find our very own Alex Gomez in drive cam for us on the northeast side. He's been stuck in some traffic out there. Alex, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. And I just left that construction zone. It's going to be 35 southbound. The southbound lane's only from Shirts Parkway all the way down on O'Connor Road. You're going to have alternating lane closures. Sometimes two lanes closed, sometimes one lane closed. So just be aware of that. But like you said, it should have lower traffic volume because NEISD is off today, RJ.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you very much, Alex.
All right, outside it is a bit comfortable this morning. Temperatures are in the low 50s. It's not as cold as it has been. Still maybe jacket weather. 51 right now in San Antonio, 50 in Boverde, 57 King Lake, 48 right now in Comfort. And where we end up today, well, I would say close to 80 here in San Antonio. You'll see some temperatures right around 80 here in town, and then low 80s down around Castroville and Devine, some 70s in the Hill Country. But either way, another really nice day here in South Texas. Now, one thing we will be watching is the increase in humidity. It won't be dramatic, but we will start to see more humidity surging in, especially as we get into this afternoon and tonight. And that's going to allow for, I think, some fog to develop. When you start to get these dew points rising to near 60, that's enough moisture to generate some of that fog. You'll see the temperature and the dew point get very close together, and I think we could see some pretty widespread fog tomorrow. That could be a concern for the morning commute, which of course RJ will keep you posted on tomorrow, but that could lower visibility in spots. You look at the dew point trend here, and it's going to be pleasant, if not maybe a little muggy as we get into Thursday, maybe Friday and Saturday. But look what happens on Sunday. That front comes through and we get some very dry air. Dry on Sunday, very dry on Monday. And one of the concerns, as we talked about last half hour, is that not only will it be very dry, but we'll also get gusty winds. Gusts in some cases maybe up to 40 miles per hour. You put those two things together and it's a bad combination. You get a pretty high fire danger. So that is something we'll be watching very intently over the weekend when it comes to that situation with the cold front. Meantime, let's talk tropics a little bit, something we haven't spoken about since Melissa, which of course was a massive hurricane. But I want to look back on the 2025 hurricane season, and these were all the systems that we dealt with. Tropical storms denoted in the white color here, the major hurricanes in red, and then we had one Category 2 hurricane with Imelda. But one thing I think that stands out here and is striking is that we did not see any really landfalling hurricanes in the United States, which it was somewhat of a busy season, but most of these hurricanes just turned right back out into the Atlantic. And other than Melissa, we didn't see a whole lot of interaction with land. So not necessarily a bad thing, but just sort of an interesting season in that sense. And by the way, that officially comes to an end. Hurricane season officially comes to an end at the end of November. All right, the extended forecast now with, as we look towards the weekend, 81 tomorrow, 83 Thursday, 86 Friday. Again, morning fog on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We get that front on Sunday. It turns windy, it turns cooler. We'll see a high right around 72 on Sunday and 66 on Monday. But in the meantime, it will be warm, especially during the afternoons. All right, our Just Ask Justin question this morning. It is Election Day, of course. And my question to you is, what's the main reason elections are on the first Tuesday in November? Is it because it's accommodating farmers? It aligns with the end of daylight saving time. Is it the anniversary of the Constitution, or is it Lincoln's birthday? We got votes for two of those there. You can go to ksat.com/polls, scan the QR code. Brought to you by Capital Farm Credit, and that answer comes your way in 1 hour.
All right. Well, I'm stumped. So expecting the viewers to help us out on this one.
Looking at 550 right now, 51 degrees outside.
Okay, I know Justin's ready for this. He loves these. Turkey and stuffing or sweet potato Oreos. There's only one way to get them all. We're going to show you how. Coming up. 5:53 on your Tuesday morning. Welcome back. And we want to, of course, update you on this important programming note. The TV provider YouTube TV and our affiliate network ABC remain in a contract dispute as of this morning. That's why ABC programming is still off of YouTube TV.
So again, as the local affiliate of ABC, KSAT monitoring this whole situation closely, and we're going to keep you updated if and when a deal is reached. You can watch all of our KSAT content otherwise on our KSAT Plus app along with our YouTube channel.
Okay, switching gears here. Well, this is what you get when you cross Oreos with Thanksgiving, Jeff. Here we go. Oreo, check this out, is launching 6 new Thanksgiving-themed flavors. These flavors include turkey, stuffing, sweet potatoes, cream corn. Sounds delicious. There's also caramel pie, apple pie, pumpkin pie, and cranberry sauce as well. Each Oreo cookie is covered in fudge that's infused with one of those 6 flavors. The Thanksgiving flavored Oreos are only available through the Oreo website.
It just doesn't seem appetizing to me. Like, it's the cookie part that'll throw all of that out to me.
But at least they don't have gravy.
Yeah, ooh, yeah. Okay. Also, no time like this to present to start all the holiday hoopla and hullabaloo. Macy's has lifted the veil on the annual Thanksgiving Day Parade balloon lineup to give a first look at some brand new balloons that will be flying high over the one of the Big Apple's biggest celebrations. Volunteer handlers did a test float of a cookie new characters, including Mario, Shrek, Buzz Lightyear, and Pac-Man. So it's that season, man, where a lot of different groups and like businesses kind of take advantage and lean in on the Thanksgiving holiday, aka Oreos. And obviously this, when you see the balloons right there, it kind of gets you in the spirit.
Absolutely. Buzz Lightyear. There we go.
All right, guys, it is 5:55, 51 degrees outside.
Well, 33 firearms, $200,000 seized during a SWAT search. Up next, why police say that this all unfolded on the south side of town.
All right, 3, 2, 1. It's engagement season. On GMSA, we're going to tell you why getting that yes might take a little creativity.
Talk about a rock right there. Also, look at this situation. We're covering more of your breaking news on the roadways. Alex Gomez appears to be at a scene right now, some type of crash. We got the update coming your way at the top of the 6.